Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Good evening everybody, happy Friday. It's Militia Man and Crew. Welcome to another night with us, and we're going to just jump in and get started. Look, there's been, the last couple days, there's been a lot of good news, and we bring it to you. And here, the U.S. Ambassador, Romanowski, they have an article from her, and it says that Washington, we support the economic reform agenda in Iraq, including updating the budget and enhancing transparency. Well, including updating the budget, which 23, 24, 25 budget, I'm sure they are, and enhancing transparency. Is that new technology, transparency, enhancing it? I think it's going to be. Because I believe that at some point in time, we're going to have a blockchain system in Iraq and around the world, and they're going to have transparency. And I think that's what they're talking about. So it says the United States affirmed on Thursday its commitment to supporting the economic reform agenda in Iraq, updating the budget, enhancing transparency. She says that I was pleased to meet with Finance Minister Taif Sami Mohammed, said the U.S. ambassador. She goes on and says the economic diplomacy is a fundamental pillar of the comprehensive U.S.-Iraq partnership. So it doesn't sound like the United States and Iraq are parting ways by any stretch of the means. She goes on to say the U.S. government is committed, to supporting Iraq's economic reform agenda, including updating that budget and enhancing that transparency. So they're just hammering it home, reiterating it. And at a time of now, keep it in mind as we go through this tonight. So here's an article from the Iraqi Trade Bank. The government state bank, which is in the transformation period of having a partnership with the public and the private between the public and the private sector. We heard about Ernst & Young working up to that end for not only for the Rafidane Bank, the Rashid Bank, but likely other banks, and even on down to what I'll call baby banks. So that stuff's in the works in the background. But it says the Iraqi Trade Bank announces the imminent opening of the Al Sadia and the Al Samoa branches, and I guess they're new. The Trade Bank announced on Thursday the imminent opening of those two banks and branches. So they're talking about multiple banks, multiple branches. So Iraqi Trade Bank is like the third largest bank. If you guys remember, back in many years ago, J.P. Morgan Chase was the one that helped facilitate Iraqi Trade Bank to get back on its feet, I believe. It says that based on the directives, so it's been a directive from the Prime Minister, Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, to provide the best services for the citizens. Al-Sudani has been focused on that best services for the citizens for at least 2 years. And he's shown his achievements in 23 and 24, and his record is pretty much stellar, as you're going to see or have seen his actions in real time. And at first, we saw multiple things, but we didn't realize collectively just how much he's done and accomplished. So it says this will provide best services for customers, noting it will contribute to reducing the momentum of cash deposits and opening corporate accounts in its branches. So look, these guys are talking about cash deposits in this particular article. He's talking about reducing the momentum, because something's about to change, and which is going to create an environment that is going to get the citizens to deposit their money. Realize that Iraq has been a cash society for 20 plus years. People are used to carrying large amounts of cash. They're not going to do that. And there's been a push for the last 2 years. So it hasn't just been overnight, been ongoing. Digital transformation's probably been going on in Iraq now for over 5 years, maybe 6, but ultimately they've been working to get to where they are today. And so now they're at that stage where they're telling people that we're opening new branches for banks for even deposits only. And so they're using the Iraqi Trade Bank. So reducing the momentum of cash deposits to who? Other smaller banks. So Anyway, they have a need to control the cash deposits. We should all know this by this time. They've had hoarded money for many years. The dinar has been said to be stronger than the dollar per Sudani. So it appears now that they're it's being showcased. They're openly talking about it. So to me, the Iraqi Trade Bank was picked as a focus to be the bank to help maintain the balance for other banks. Deposits are debts to banks. They have to prepare for credit risk, of course, interest rate risks, liquidity risk. Why now? Well, they're preparing because they're going to have probably much of what they weren't able to get off the street back coming into the banks. But what are they going to need for that? Those folks that held that money for a reason had a good understanding of what to expect. The project to delete the zeros is going to bring value. It's going to bring purchasing power. And those folks were not going to lose. They already got hammered after the wars. They've already lost a lot of money. They lost a lot of stock value in their pricing. A lot of those people are expecting the stock market to run big time, to get a boost when they change the value of their currency based off a real effective exchange rate, based off real assets, non-oil, all of those things that we've talked about. That's what's at focus right now, everybody. It's phenomenal. So this is a good sign of things to come. And there's an article here talking about the national lending strategy. It says basically the Iraqi economy is witnessing an important stage of engagement with the international formation that moves according to the liberal market systems on the one hand and adapting the form of market economy locally on the other hand. So this article is a bit long, but what are some of the basics? It says the responsibility is doubled for parties in economic files that are directly affecting people's lives, and that's what Al-Sudani is reflecting, what's best for the citizens. And they're talking specifically the file of financial and monetary policies and the file of the labor market and activating the role of real sectors. They're talking about the private. As these files have a significant impact on creating the state stability, the movement of the market, growth of the business environment, contributing and creating an attractive climate for investment. You've seen Al-Sudani, that's what they've been working on. And that's what their strategy is all about. It says, for years, efforts have been ongoing to reach this stage where they are now. So like I said, they've been working on this for a long time. Through these transformations that are being witnessed by state functions, what we've seen the state do, in the banking infrastructure and legislating or amending some laws related to these files, but the efforts did not bear fruit from the past due to a number of reasons, including the procrastination that affected the lending cycle in many initiatives launched by the relevant parties. He's going to go on to say, to turn it around, I'm assuming here, he says, to launch the national strategy for bank lending in the hope of reconsidering the experience of previous initiatives from the past and achieving the aforementioned goals. He says, because the growth and the development strategies cannot be achieved unless the cash issued in the banking arena is recycled. Okay, that's important. Through loans. So in other words, bring in your hoarded money, okay, and we'll recycle it in a sense, and what we'll do, put it into savings accounts, if you will, or checking accounts, or whatever they want to do, CDs, whatever they want to do, whatever tools, instruments they want to use, and they'll loan the money out into what? To help with those small, medium, and large enterprises. Okay, so the methods they talk about, I just mentioned, that's what they're for, small, medium, large projects, and even including micro projects. So basically what is that for? It's to oblige owners of large, medium projects that will be financed and to specify the number of workers in the projects in advance feasibility studies that will be submitted to banks. So basically what they've done is they're looking to get and enticing the people to come in, bring in their hoarded money. Well, to me, what's that going to do? Why are they creating banks or branches specifically for bringing in deposits? Well, that's the hoarded money. What are they going to do? They're going to recycle it. They're going to get it out. They're doing this right now. That's what they've been talking about. It's huge, you guys. The only thing that you can think of is what's the incentive? Why bring them in 1310? Why bring all your money in at 1310 for a promise that you can't even get your salaries on a regular basis? They're not going to do that. They're going to need incentive. And I think the real effective exchange rate is going to be that incentive. The Minister of Labor says that workers are not laid off. Here we will guarantee one of the treatments that can contribute to employing unemployed youth. This can be done by supporting borrowers of large and medium projects with customs and tax exemptions at rates that are proportional to the size of the nature of the projects. The private banks can adhere to this matter according to instructions issued by the central bank. So the private banks can be involved. Look, the Iraqi Trade Bank is opening depository accounts for deposits only. That's the kicker right there. Why? Because they want to recycle the cash. Okay, so I won't get into any more of that, but I think you guys will get the picture, is that they're going to need the incentive to bring that money in, and that's what we're hoping. That's what we're hoping for anyway. I know I am. Specialized course in the work of exchange and brokerage companies. This is coming from the CBI. What is it talking about? It says a Directorate of the Supervision of Non-Financial and Banking Institutions. And they go on to say obligating all licensed exchange companies under categories A and B and all licensed brokerage companies of category C to buy and sell foreign currencies, to obtain special certificate or a special license for their companies to work. This is important because this reflects on they're going to be now selling other foreign currencies. They want them licensed to do what? Electronic transactions, issuing prepaid cards, having a central bank electronic platform. They're basically talking about the Central Bank of Iraq's electronic platform has seen increased transactions, with daily transactions now at around 200 million. The currency auctions, you guys were talking about imports and transactions, they needed money. Here it's talking about the transition to a direct banking. It says that as of 2024, 95% of the transition from the electronic platform to a direct bank transfers has been completed. So they basically are telling us they've got the system set up, and you're probably likely to see that the dollar auctions, as you've seen them in the past, which will curb and probably eradicate the parallel market in a sense overnight, they're geared for it. That's how I see it. Iraq participates in the GITEX, the GITEX. Okay, it's a 2024 Enhanced Cooperation in Technology and Cybersecurity. So it is the a forum that they've just put on. It was in Dubai. The GTEX Global 2024 was held at the World Trade Center in Dubai. It says global cooperation to shape the future economy based on artificial intelligence. Iraq participated in this, you guys. Artificial intelligence. Remember we talked about that in the past? If you guys go back into our patreon.com/MM&C, you're going to see that if you type in buzzwords, artificial intelligence, or AI even, you're going to see that you're going to be able to do some work and see just how many articles reference artificial intelligence over the last 2 years. It's a lot. And that's where we came up with the model that I had on one of my videos to show that taking an undervalued currency and turn it into a valuable currency needs to have not a market, but a model to figure out it's been undervalued so much. We need to plug in all these different variables to see how it's going to work, how it's going to work with the public, and we need to feed information from the emotional side, which is the media, with the artificial intelligence, all the technical models to get a valuation for currencies. And it isn't just for the Iraqi dinar. It looks like they've used it for other currencies as well, because there's many countries around the world for many, many years have been undervalued, and we all know that at least 4 or 5 years that laws have been put in place for currency manipulation law, for instance. So keep that in mind. Okay, it says this exhibition is considered one of the largest global events specialized in technology. and emerging companies, as it attracts a large number of governments, investors, major companies, and experts from various sectors. The event is a platform to enhance global cooperation between governments and companies and those investors, in addition to supporting startups and promoting innovation in education, academia, and research circles. Look, the GITEX global feature will have about, it says about 6,500 companies from 180 countries there. That's pretty big, you guys. What are they showcasing? Investment opportunities, advanced technology, cybersecurity, data protection, artificial intelligence technologies. Okay, so you can see where they're headed with this. Digital transformation is underway and it's not going away. Obviously, if they've enticed for all those reasons 180 countries, I think you should take it very seriously and be excited, because Iraq was part of that. And you can see now over the last 2 years that the digital transformation upon Iraq is definitely in the forefront. Here's an article that says Suleimania departments begin localizing salaries at the federal banks. Okay, salaries localizing. What are they going to be doing? They're going to be taking salaries from the whole country, bringing those salaries into what? The unified treasury account or something similar to that, and paying everybody on time effectively through their electronic cards. That's what they're talking about when they're talking about localizing salaries. So it's going to be transparent. In other words, you're not going to be able to lie about who you are. They have biometrics, so they don't have to pay a name with no biometric history. Okay, so that's where the Kurdistan region was probably having some problems, because I think they were making some errors in their audits when it comes to who's who, double salaries, triple salaries, quadruple salaries, things like that. It's going to cease. And obviously, here we are. An informed source talks about it today, yesterday on the 17th, that the Department and institutions of Suleimania government have begun procedures to localize salaries in federal banks in implementation of the decision of the federal court. So basically, things that are going on are primarily because of the federal court has made a decision and they need to unify these salaries. And that is what we're going to see. I'm pretty sure one of the reasons why they haven't done it yet is because they've been waiting for a real effective exchange rate. Okay, so an instruction reached the school administration from the education directorate, as well as the security and civil institutions and provinces of Somalia and Halabja, to go to the branches of the Trade Bank of Iraq. Okay, so now they're telling the citizens that if you go to the trade bank, we have open deposits there, but also if you go to those banks, you have the ability to get your salaries localized. Okay, so they're telling you to go there. So they're going for both. They want you to be there for your salaries, but they also want you to bring in your money. Okay, there is a demand for the Iraqi Trade Bank, the Suleimania branch, and another branch will be open in the coming days for the purpose of delivering the special form to employees in order to begin the procedures for the localization of the salaries directly to the federal banks. And the turnout is good so far. During the next month, a branch of Rashid banks, remember I said there was other banks, Trade Bank, Rafidain Bank, Rashid Bank. So if you think about that, in all the branches, we're not talking about just a few, 1, 2, or 3 banks in the whole country. They're talking about their associated banks. For instance, if they have 150, if they have 100, or if they have 50, it's going to be a lot of banks. And we'll see how many that turns out to be. And it says that these 3 banks, Rafidain, Rashid banks, will be opened in the center of Suleimania city, and their locations have been determined already. It says basically that the Trade Bank of Iraq had previously confirmed full commitment to the decision of the Federal Supreme Court regarding the localization of salaries employees of Kurdistan region, which stipulates the localization of salaries of employees of the region with the federal government, banks operating in or outside of the region. And basically on February 21st, this is when this happened, the federal court decided to oblige the Prime Minister, Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, President of the Kurdistan Regional Government, and Masroor Barzani to localize the salaries and for the employees at outlets to be spread across the region or banks and licensed by the Central Bank of Iraq to deduct from the region's budget this year and the coming year. This year and the coming year's budget. So they started this process back in February, and here we are getting on to the end of the year, but they've already put this in motion, and we're going to see results. Here is an article called "The Joint Venture to Enhance Logistics and Shipping in Iraq." This gentleman by the name of Zayed Khalaf, his holding group is in Abu Dhabi. Guess these guys are really hot and heavy with Iraq. The partnership was signed in the presence of Mohammed Juma Al-Shamsi, chairman of the board of directors of MM&C, managing director of the CEO of the Abu Dhabi Ports Group, big companies, Zayed Khalaf, chairman of the board of directors of the International Development Bank, that's pretty big, the International Development Bank, president of the Zayed Khalaf Holding Group at the MM&C headquarters, and were in this meeting signing and witnessed by the presence of these executives from both parties. This joint venture will support MM&C's efforts to strengthen its presence in Iraq and expand the scope of receiving and delivering services, benefiting from the widespread of the holding group in the local market, okay, and its ability to reach more than 7,000 points of sales throughout the country. So they're basically going to be working with customers throughout businesses, companies, individuals alike. And what will they do? They'll play a pivotal role in enhancing the benefit of new trade paths and facilitating trade exchange, as well as helping companies enter new markets. There's more to the story. You can find it in patreon.com with Militia Man and crew. And I would suggest you guys come on in and read that. Read pretty much everything that we have in the last couple of weeks, and you're going to be excited. One of the things it says, in addition to facilitating cross-border trade exchange, harnessing all possibilities in the financial sector. So they're not just talking about internal trade, he's talking about harnessing cross-border trade. So what do you have to have for that? Cross-border payments, right? Yes, you do. Do you not need an international tradable Article 8 compliant currency like the IMF rules let's set out? I believe they do. He goes on to say it's our responsibility, Khalif says this, based on our presence in each of our countries, in Iraq, the United Arab Emirates, are to promote intra-trade between the two countries, share successful experiences to support the economy, develop trade, increase trade exchange, encourage the movement of investment, and their joint cooperation between the two countries. He stresses that the UAE economy stands on solid ground and have a diverse base that qualifies the country and it to achieve more successes and achievements regionally and globally. Both these countries now and in the future are going to be held to the highest standards, international standards. Trade exchange between the two countries, it's a powerful thing, everyone. For them to be focusing in on this now, you just got to go, okay, they're talking about, doing point of sales. They're talking about digital payments, cross-border payments. And for them to be doing this, it's just no coincidence as far as I'm concerned. They're very far along with the agreement in the sense that they signed deals that are basically giving everybody assurances that Iraq is effectively opening up to the world. They're going to have compliance to international standards while being, within compliance of the IMF Article 8 obligations that we talked about. The UAE has the ability to successfully accomplish what they've set out to do. They talk about having those 7,000 point of sales throughout Iraq. And Iraq now has the capabilities to enhance that trade and economic cooperation. So you can see the writing on the wall that they have. This whole theme I'm going over today is about Iraq effectively, I believe, showing us that they are going international. And this isn't the Kuwait conference where they pledged $30 billion and nothing ever happened. Well, this is apparently now happening, which is awesome. I hope everybody can see it. It's good. Okay, I think this last article is going to be a good one too, in the sense that it says the Customs concludes an agreement with the land transport company to guarantee the payment of customs duties and taxes for transit goods. Goods, I should say. If we go back in time a little bit, I know some folks say, wait, that has nothing to do with now, but sorry. We got to go back in time and say, well, we learned about this a long time ago, but guess what? Sometimes you have to wait for things to transpire, and this is a good thing because it has. It says income streams, April 21st, 2023, so just a little over a year and a half ago. How much will Iraq gain from the TIR agreement? The Ministry of Transport explains it. It says the Ministry of Transport addressed the Iraqi Minister of Foreign Affairs for the purpose of signing the instrument of accession to the TIR agreement and informing the International Land Transport Union. And after signing the instrument, the actual implementation steps will begin. So they let you know in April of 2023 that here we are. They have a session, but they will not do actual implementation steps until what? The signing of the instrument. The instrument meaning contract. Okay, so here we are. Fast forward to, let's see, which one is this? 2 days ago, Transport announces Iraq's readiness to join the TIR convention. It says Iraq's Ministry of Transport announced the readiness of the general company for the land transport to join the TIR, which includes more than 90 countries. The Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani agreed with local guarantor of the International Road Transport Agreement, and the knowledge of the TR agreement is the general company for the land transport. It said tomorrow, which was Tuesday, we'll witness the signing of the contract. That instrument, remember? Okay, that was Tuesday. Signing of the contract between the Land Transport Company and the Iraq's Customs Authority in the presence of the advisor to the International Road Transport Union, stressing that a copy of the contract, that instrument, will be deposited with the International Union, United Nations, to announce Iraq's readiness and accession to this agreement, which includes more than 90 countries. Everybody's going to be working together. So is that not internationalism? I love this, you guys. It's exciting. The statement continues that the company has entered into international scope through the transit agreement across countries, the customs agreement related to the international transport of goods that use international road transport cards aims to record international transit by simplifying the transit procedures and the international guarantee system. The card is the basis of known as the Land Transport System and the International Guarantee System. All right, so that is massive. Basically, the writing's on the wall. So we knew the day would come when there was going to be a need for the TIR agreement, supporter of the guarantor, International Transport Agreement, and tomorrow, which was on Tuesday, I wrote about this then, 2 days ago. They basically are looking to sign it, and guess what? They have it signed. It says here that Thursday, the guarantee agreement with the general company for land transport to be the guarantor of the payment of the customs duties. Guarantors, so they're going to guarantee the payment of those custom duties and taxes for goods and commodities transiting through Iraq's territory. Development Road Project, you guys, Port of Fa, all the different things that you see in the last couple of days. The Port of Fa, they're bringing in the ships to test the new port. Okay, the trucking, the TIR. Okay, that's international trucking. It's going to move the goods. They're going to have guarantor for what? The trucking, the fees For what? That unified treasury account for the Iraqi people. They talk about the constitutional rights. Al-Sudani talks about the citizens, constitutional rights. Same with the Kurds, constitutional rights. They agree. They want to have their what's right, their constitutional rights. There we go. And then you have Romanowski, and you have Taif Sami, and then you have them talking about opening the pipeline for Turkey. All of it coming around what time? Everything's coming and converging at the same time. That's the picture I'm seeing. I think you guys are probably seeing it as well. Okay, it says the statement explains that the agreement was signed at the headquarters of the General Authority of Customs in the presence of the representatives of the Land Transport Company to be a qualitative leap that comes from the readiness of the two parties to move forward in facilitating transit procedures and to enhance and develop international trade, and to represent a kind of readiness for development roadworks in addition to its positive repercussions and increase in customs revenues. You see that? Increase in customs revenues that are collected to support the what? The state's general treasury. This is a signed agreement, you guys. The actual implementation steps will begin. That's what they said they needed. Remember at the beginning? It says that after signing the instrument, the actual implementation steps will begin. What'd they do? They signed it. So now it's actually implementation time for them to open up their country into the international world. I believe that's exactly what they're doing, and we're now watching it happen before our eyes. Look, you know, powerful information, you guys. I don't think it was too much to handle. I think everybody should understand that what we bring here with Militia Man and crew is our best that we can find, analyze it to the best that we can, and give you an honest opinion of what we're seeing coming directly from them. And it's fascinating that I can draw from around the world, from many brilliant people, and I want to give thanks to all those brilliant people that are so kind and helpful and share their time. Many of them do it for free. Why? Because they're here just like me to help people. We help you, you help us, and thank you so much for all that help. All those donations to Zelle, Venmo, PayPal go a long way to bring what I just did today, and thank you. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content, subscribe to the channel, or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.